We want to make sure that everything is built from a CEO mindset. Does it look big picture? Are we seeing how this maps out for us in the long run? That's the whole point of the Bold Marketing Calendar, is that we're getting really clear on what we want, how we're supporting our audience, and we're creating a content plan to make sure that we're building the awareness of our products, of our goals, of how they can work with us. Welcome to the Bold Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Kinal, and this is a space where bold moves meet inspired action. Join us as we dive into stories, strategies, and mindset of those who are building their dreams, creating impactful communities, and redefining success on their terms. Whether you're looking for practical business tips, a boost of inspiration, or a community that gets your vision, you are in the right place. Get ready to elevate your journey and embrace what it means to be a bold founder. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Bold Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Kinal, and today I'm pulling back the curtain on content and marketing and exactly how I plan my content as a CEO and marketing strategist. This episode is so important because if you've ever felt overwhelmed by content creation, like most of us have, and feel like you're constantly showing up without a plan, then we're really going to talk about building a brand, a podcast, a course, or whatever it is that you're doing and how you stay visible online. Because the truth is, if you're not building with a strategy, you're kind of just showing up and it's never going to align with your goals. And it's just going to end up burning you out, exhausting you, and making you not like getting on social media. Like I've heard from so many people. So today I'm going to walk you through what I do for myself and my clients, but also how you can too. I'm going to give you a look behind my new product, the Bold Marketing Calendar, but also just how you can use this Trello-based marketing system to simplify and organize your entire marketing world. And I'm also going to share some of the tools that I love because yes, I have a lot of tools that are my favorite because they do help me simplify so much. And I cannot stress enough, we are business owners who wear many, many hats. And if we can actually make our lives easier, then why don't we do it? Why don't we invest in creating systems that allow us to step away from our business so we can enjoy things, so we can go flower picking with our family, so we can go to those sports hockey games or volleyball games, so that we can take the day off if we want, so we can go play pickleball on Fridays like I'd like to do. So I just want to talk about how can we market our businesses in a way that aligns with us, but also is so much easier. I just want to make everything so much easier. That's the name of the game for me right now. So here's why I create content as a CEO and not just as a marketer. I am definitely a marketer through and through. I love the strategy of social media. I love the idea of creating content and having it go somewhere. I don't ever want to create content just to create content because what's the point? I don't want to exhaust myself more. I want to make sure that everything I do either supports my audience, gives them more information on what I do, helps build that know, and trust. It guides them to an email funnel or opt-in. It sells a product for them and invites them to my Be Bold conference. I want to make sure that whatever I do, I'm not just marketing because I'm supposed to, because I have to show up on social media because otherwise your business looks like you're not existent. No, I'm marketing in a way that like I said, builds that know, and trust, supports my business goals, and helps me get to where I want. That is what the CEO does. They can see the big picture of everything, and then they start to use that strategy to their advantage. So we want to create content that builds trust and authority and creates aligned leads. One, we don't want to have an email list full of people that do not understand us. This is kind of like that topic you've heard probably multiple times. Someone posts this super cute puppy reel and everybody loves it and it goes viral on the internet. And then people come to what you do and it has nothing to do with puppies. And they're like, wait, I like this because of this and I'm following you, but you're actually talking about that topic, which is I'm not interested in at all. So it doesn't help your business, right? So we want to make sure that everything we're doing is aligned with what our goals are, aligned with what our business is, aligned with who our target demographic is. So even when you're looking to create collaborations or to partner with people, we want to make sure everything is always aligned because we want to bring in those key target people always. So we're always thinking about, okay, what is our target? What is our goals with this? Yes, there's trending audios and all those things, but we want to make sure that we are not thinking just strictly trends. There's a lot of trends that go out on social media and I'm like, that's so awesome. That doesn't relate to my business at all. So why would I spend the time and energy to create that? Maybe it's fun. Maybe I might like it, but does it align? No, Not at all. So let's make sure that we're not just focusing on being trendy. Yeah, if there's a trendy thing going on and it aligns with your business, your goals, and what you want, and it will relate to your target audience, then yeah, go ahead and do it. But if it doesn't, I want you to always think about what are your core values and how are we portraying this through our content. So one of my big things is also planning ahead. I want less stress, more consistency, more strategy, more focus on what I'm doing. If I'm going to spend the time doing it, I want to make sure that it is aligned, that it is going to be profitable for me, or to at least guide my audience in a direction that nurtures them and brings them further into my community, building that authority like, know, and trust. And that is exactly what a CEO mindset does when they're thinking about growing their business. So let's start leading our business as the CEO with intention, with our systems. I can't even tell you how much I love systems, and I have so many systems in place, and I'm just further executing them to make sure that everything is more streamlined, more focused, less me required, and it aligns with my strategy, with where I'm going with my goals. And so that is what a CEO does. They think about what they need, big picture, and then they implement. So we're going to talk about how we use this CEO mindset strategy when we're actually going ahead and creating our content. So let's start by thinking what is our vision? And so this is probably my favorite part of the conversation because everything we do needs to align with our vision. So we need to start thinking, okay, this is what I want for my business. So how do we grow in that direction? What are you focusing on this season? So for me, I've got a couple things that I'm focusing on. I'm promoting the Be Bold conference because that's in October 7th. We want to make sure that everyone is aware that this conference exists. We want to make sure they're aware of the speakers that are going to be there, the topics we're going to discuss, why they should be there, what the experience is going to be like. But that's one of the important things that I'm focusing on, right? So, okay, we've got that content right there, ready to go. We've also got the content of building authority through content strategy, right? So I want to make sure that you know that I'm the expert when it comes to building your business online, to marketing, to being a powerhouse in your business, being the CEO in your business, acting boldly in your actions in your business. So I want to make sure my content is always building authority in that aspect, that I'm seen as that leader, that go-to person, right? So that's one of the other things that I'm really focusing on this season, but also kind of always. Another thing I'm focusing on is growing my podcast. I want more people to find my podcast. I want to make sure that I'm partnering with the right people, creating good conversations. I'm allowing you to kind of step inside my business and my mindset and what's going on with me and how I'm adjusting my business to grow in a way that supports me more, right? I want you to be able to, I just want to open the door behind what goes on behind business owners, because I do think that sometimes we get on podcasts or we listen to podcasts and it's you should do this and you should do this and you should do this. And I'm just I just want to know what everyone's going through. I want to know the behind the scenes, the struggles they've had, how they've overcome it, how they've set up their business, right? So my goal is to grow my podcast because I want to make sure that those messages are portrayed to my audience so that they can learn more from me. They can learn more from other experts. They can learn how they can create systems in their business. So these are the things I want to make sure and grow my podcast. And then I also want to grow my digital products. So that passive product aspect of it, we want to make sure that that's also growing. So for me, it's the Be Bold conference, building authority and nurturing my audience, and then growing my podcast and digital products. Those are my key things right now that I'm really focusing on when it comes to my content and my marketing. And when we take the time to figure out what our key things are, we can implement that into our content. We can make sure that our content, let's say every single week, I'm going to talk about the Be Bold conference, right? So that's one post every single week. It gives me an idea of what I'm posting about, but it also has an idea that leads directly back to my marketing calendar, right? We want to make sure we're showing up with that authority. So how can I show up with that authority? Well, obviously, I want to make sure that I'm educating my audience on the trends. I want to make sure I'm educating my audience on the tools that work. I want to educate my audience on how to show up and how to build that authentic connection with your audience. Those are the things that are wrapped up in that way of me showing up. And it allows me to say, okay, what kind of content does that look like when I actually go and map it out for what I'm going to talk about? And then obviously growing my podcast. For my podcast to grow, I have to talk about it. So this means that every Wednesday when I launch a podcast, that needs to be in my content planning, right? So let's just take out the big major goals, the things that we're talking about, and those come first when it comes to what we market and plan out, right? So if we know those are top priority, they need to be woven into every single thing. Then I like you to pick 3 to 4 content pillars. These are the things that like will allow you to have content to talk about. So yeah, right now I don't go as much into these pillars because I'm more focused on my like main goals, the conference, the digital products, the podcast. But when I'm not talking about those main things, we can go back to our core pillars and be like, okay, I don't have anything to talk about on Tuesday, so let's see what can I talk about in those content pillars that will support my audience, right? So my current content pillars right now are building authority through content, right? Behind the scenes of my business. I love sharing what's going on behind the scenes. Like I said, I'm in a state of overwhelm and well, I'm coming out of it and burnout. How am I dealing with that? That is a behind the scenes, right? So I've also shared like I've been using Grupo Nutrition, which is a protein shake that has really been helping me. Like just making sure that I'm taking care of my body and nurturing it, helping get rid of the brain helping get rid of the brain fog. I've also been taking B12 shots. Those are behind the scene things that I do that I just think is important to share. These are the things that are helping me be stronger, right? So why would other entrepreneurs not want to see that? So I love sharing that stuff. That is the behind the scenes of my business. Marketing strategy and social media tips. I could talk forever about social media. So let's integrate that into my strategy, right? I'm going to tell you, okay, this is what's trending. This is what's going on with the algorithm this week. This is what's going best for reels. Like make your reels 7 seconds. First 3 seconds, you have to hook them or else they're going to swipe off. Like those are the things I can share within those content buckets. And they can also still relate back to my top core goals that I'm planning out. And then obviously I also really like to share like the personal life, the freedom based lifestyle that I'm trying to create, the fact that I can travel, the fact that I can work from anywhere. Like I want to make sure that those things are shared because I do fully believe that we can build a business of our life by design. So if I want to be able to work from the lake, I can do that. If I want to go to Mexico and I need to check in with my clients while I'm gone, I can do that. I can go for a couple of weeks and be like, okay, I can still do that because my business is set up that way. This is important content pillar for me to share because I think building awareness helps other people see that this is possible for them. And then use the tools and systems, which I will share, but also like use the tools and systems that will help you get there. Like I've built the Bold Marketing Calendar. That is my tool that I use for my clients, but also that you could use for your content. And it's what I use for myself. Use the tools that will help you get there faster. It goes through all the things that we just went through. I want to make sure that you know your goals. We want to make sure you know your content buckets. It has a whole calendar that you can mark everything in there so that you can visually see what you need to post every single week. You can batch your content in advance and then schedule it out. Like I just cannot tell you enough how much using that system is the perfect thing for the CEO mindset, right? Like it allows you to take a big picture look versus sitting on your phone every single day going, oh, what am I going to post? I have this B-roll and I don't know, maybe I'll talk about this topic. Sure, that works, right? Like we want to make sure that everything is built from a CEO mindset. Does it look big picture? Are we seeing how this maps out for us in the long run? That's the whole point of the Bold Marketing Calendar, is that we're getting really clear on what we want, how we're supporting our audience, and we're creating a content plan to make sure that we're building the awareness of our products, of our goals, of how they can work with us. It's just that like tool that we're going to use to create systems for ourselves that work, that grow our business and grow our profit. And so within this Trello-based system, I actually have like monthly overviews. We're going to talk about the goals like we talked about right there. We're going to talk about the weekly content themes. We're going to talk about launch timelines and what does that look like if you're launching a product. These are kind of the things that like are my knowledge base, and I plug those into the Bold Marketing Calendar because that's so important to have that as a CEO. We're going to talk about social media, podcasting, emails, blog planning, like whatever it happens to be, and then also prompts because that's how we grow, right? We think big picture on everything and we use the tools that are available to us to get us to where we want to be. And so that's kind of the thing that I use the most for myself and my clients. I actually love it for myself because I feel like I'm very structured in the sense that I like to have my checklist. I like to know what needs to be done. I like to make sure everything, maybe this is the marketing strategist in me, always aligns back to my goals. And it just simplifies. And simplify is the name of the game for me. So you can grab your own copy. The link will be in the show notes, or you can find it at jenkinal.com under my products section. It just has everything that I use. And then I also want to talk about a couple other tools that I love. I've talked about this a few times, is Canva Pro. I just think it's so powerful in terms of being able to create templates and create reels and create carousels, and Pinterest like graphics so you can put in also even the graphics you use in your emails. Canva Pro is like amazing for that. It's definitely a tool that I use all the time. It helps keep my branding consistent. You'll see that there's a lot of pink in my branding, but you'll see that like I usually use always the same fonts. I usually use always the same shades of pink. There is some like yellows in there too, but it's always the same ones. It helps me stay super consistent so that my brand is easily recognizable. If you're going from the podcast to the emails to the Instagram social media page, it just really, really helps a lot. The next tool that I use, so all these tools kind of go in together. So I want to make sure you understand. I start with Trello with the Bold Marketing Calendar. I plug and play everything in there. Then I take what I've got in Trello and I say, okay, I need to create this reel. This reel needs to have a graphic to go with it. So then I go into Canva, and Canva helps me create like the graphic cover for the reel. Or sometimes I'll put the actual video in there and then use Canva's fonts in there. It's so incredible in terms of helping you just keep everything all in one place, but also keeping that like flow, idea, creation. Then we move into scheduling, which is there's lots of scheduling apps. I've probably used almost all of them. Later is my favorite because it has just way more capabilities. Like it can go to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. It can go to so many different like places, but also it auto posts. I found that some places won't post a reel with the cover image, so then you have to manually post it. Some scheduling apps won't post carousels that are slides for stories. They will only post one Instagram story at a time. But I like to have them in slides because then they're all together, and then you'd have to manually post it, but later does not do that. It will automatically post everything for you. I just find it's like the best. It has really good analytics, but this is what you need to do is as a CEO, you need to think, okay, what are the systems I can put in place to make sure that I am seamlessly marketing my business and with ease, right? We want to make sure that it's just easy. So plan it all in Trello. Use the Bold Marketing Calendar. Use the tools within there that help you really get clear on your goals, get clear on your content pillars, then plug and play. Like it's an actual calendar you can put in. So my favorite is to go in there and be like, okay, I launch on January 2nd. So I need to make sure that on January 2nd, I am like, that's my launch day. That's the day I need to make sure that I have a launch graphic or reel, something's going out that day. I need to have stories announcing whatever that product is and why people need it, and a link to be able to purchase it. But I want lead up before that. So how many weeks, months do I need to start talking about this product before? So for example, we have got the Be Bold conference. That's October 7th. I've been talking about that since like months, like 6 months, basically, for sure January, I think. So I've been talking about that for a long time, but when you have that much lead up time, you're able to talk about it with ease. It doesn't feel so rushed and salesy, right? I don't like the salesy aspect of it. So as a CEO, I can be like, okay, I'm going to take 6 months to do this. I'm going to give myself lots of time so that I can talk about the speakers. I can talk about the venue, the experience. I want to make sure that I'm giving lots of information constantly. So they say people need to see something 7 times before they buy. I think it's actually more than that now. But okay, so that gives me 6 months of content and touch points for them to see and then be like, yep, that's the one I need to be at that conference, right? So we're going to plan these things. We're going to plug it in and then we're going to plan out, okay, I already said I wanted to talk about the speakers. Well, I have 6 speakers plus myself, so 7 speakers at this conference. I want to make sure that each person gets a post on social media so that they get showcased, right? I want to talk about the topics. Okay, well, if I want to talk about why we're bringing joy, like Jillian Shecker in as a speaker, we're going to talk about joy. Okay, so what does joy have to do with business? And then let's give them a story as to why joy is so important. Like if we are working all the time, we're going to lose our joy in our business. We're going to get burnt out and be exhausted. Let's go back to bringing more joy into our business. Let's start looking at how we can start appreciating what we've created, that we get to do these things, we have to do them, right? So let's bring that element in. That was really, really important for me to bring her in as a speaker. We have Selena Gray coming in. She's talking to us about working less and making more, right? And like that building that ability for us to grow our businesses without taking more time from us ourselves. How can we do that? So I love having her in there and then sharing the story of like, this is possible. Look what she's created. Look what her clients have created. This is how we can do it. Let's map it out together in the conference, right? So all these things we can like, I could just go through this conference forever and like map it all out months back to make sure that that content gets shared. That's what we're doing in this bold marketing calendar is we are mapping things out. We're just like brainstorming what we could talk about for that conference and then let's plug it back. We don't want it to be like every single day we're talking about that because then it feels salesy and heavy. And if people let's say they're not in town that week, they're just going to tune out and they're not going to listen to anything you talk about anymore because all you're doing is pushing the conference and they're not even in town, so they can't come, right? So we want to make sure that we are using that to plan it out in a way that feels good, feels like informative, not salesy. And then from Trello, we take that content, we put it into Canva, we design it. You can buy templates on Etsy. And then customize them to all your branding colors. You can design them yourself and then just go back to those same templates and then just be like, update the text and update the imagery a little bit more. And then there you go. It's all ready to go. You can create your stories in there. You can create reel covers. You can create your email graphics. You can create Pinterest graphics. You can create so many things in Canva and then transfer those over. And you can also even create reels in there. Like they've got video options. You can pull videos like from their video inventory archive and use those, or you can use your own and pop them in there. So Canva is such an incredible tool. And then from Canva, we go and schedule it. We schedule it in Later or any scheduling app. I like Later. So we schedule it later because then we can be like, okay, everything that I mapped out and planned out is now in Later and it's going to auto publish. And I know for the next month, my content is like done, right? Like that's how I like to plan all of my client stuff is I map out their whole month coming up. We go with their goals, we map it all out, and then we just let it like auto post. Let's say you spend a week. You can spend less than this, but sometimes when it's our business, we are very close to it. And it's a little bit harder for us to create this because it's our baby, it's our thing. We want to make sure it's perfect. So I'm going to say, let's say a week because I'm being overly generous, but you could do this in a couple of days. You could be like, okay, this is what I'm going to create. I'm going to create carousels because it's a little less video content for me to create. I'm going to post this many times a week. And you could do it in a day. Technically, you could do your whole month content in a day if you dedicated the day to it. Schedule it all out. And then now you know for the rest of the month, you can just pop on as you want to. You can pop on and be like, hey, this is what we're doing today. This is behind the scenes, which aligns with your content. Like it just makes it way more fun and also more authentic because it doesn't feel like I have to post today. When am I going to post? And I should go on stories and talk to somebody on stories. No, we get to do this because we want to and because it's exciting because all of our content's already scheduled. It's fantastic. So when we think this way about our business, it makes it so much more simple. It allows us to have that system in place that we know we are tackling our goals, we are checking off that list, but we are doing it in a way that's effective and geared towards what we want, to that dream life we want. So this allows you to have that freedom. So you can go take coffee walks. You can go to Kelowna and have like a winery weekend where you visit all your favorite wineries and get to try all the different wines that there are. It allows you to travel, to go on vacation and head off to Mexico. It allows you to spend time with your family. It allows you to focus even just on client work. One of my favorite things is actually, this is so sad. Maybe it's not sad, but one of my favorite things is to just sit and work. Like I just love to sit and like bust out all my clients' social media strategies and marketing campaigns and be like, okay, those are done. Like I'm such a checklist person. I can be like, bust it out, get it done, be productive, be like, okay, we're done. It's all done. So it just really protects your space, your energy, and allows your business to grow effectively, efficiently, and like in a direction that you want, but also allows you to focus on other aspects of your business. Like if you could have your social media all mapped out and then you could be like, okay, I want to start like collaborating with people. So I can spend my time figuring out who I want to collaborate with, or I want to get on more podcasts. So I can spend my time listening to more podcasters and listening to who aligns with me and their target audience aligns with me and then pitching them to work to be on their podcast, right? Like it allows you to focus as the CEO on other areas of your business because you've already taken care of your marketing. Your marketing's done. Let's move on to other things. What other areas do we want to grow? Okay, so your action plan from this episode is to grab your bold marketing calendar because, I've said it 1,000 times. this is something that makes it so much easier for you. So grab your Bold marketing calendar, create your own if you want, but that one's already tried and true and works amazingly. Use Canva Pro to create branded content that goes in the direction that you want for your business. And then also like block out, I don't know, an hour a week, one day. Let's just like figure out what are our goals? What are our content pillars going to be? What does the next 2 to 4 weeks of your content look like, right? Start mapping that out and then put it into place. And once it's in place, start dreaming. Dream about where you want to do. What do you want to do? How do you want to grow? Maybe it's just like sitting on the deck and reading a good book. Like you're done with your content and your marketing. Enjoy your time. Do what you need to do to enjoy the business you've designed, because now you've set up your marketing calendar to work for you. And if you love this episode, definitely share it with your fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to stop winging it and start like planning with like intention and systems and ease. So please share it with them. Tell me what you think. I'd love for you to leave a review. Message me on Instagram. Tell me about what you love on the podcast that has helped you grow. All the links I've mentioned are in the show notes. And until next time, stay bold.